When heaven spoke your name, everything shifted. The air in the spirit realm changed. Angels stopped what they were doing. Darkness trembled. It wasn't just a whisper. It was a divine command that carried weight across realms. You might not have felt it right away, but something began to move. Something unseen. Something powerful. Because when heaven speaks your name, it's not just sound, it's purpose being activated. And maybe lately you've been feeling strange inside. You can't explain it. You wake up in the middle of the night, your chest heavy for no reason. You sense that something is happening, even though nothing seems different on the surface. But deep down you know something is shifting. The atmosphere around you feels charged. The people closest to you are reacting differently. Some are pulling away. Some are acting strange. And you can't shake this inner knowing that you're being prepared for something bigger. You see, heaven isn't sounding the alarm to scare you. It's not warning you out of fear. It's a divine interruption. Because when you've been chosen for something great, heaven has to make sure you don't sleep through your calling. It's like an alarm clock that won't stop ringing until you wake up. The divine realm is saying, it's time. It's time for you to rise. Time for you to remember who you are. Time for you to stop seeing yourself through the pain of what happened and start seeing yourself through the eyes of heaven. What you've been feeling is not random. Every heavy emotion, every restless night, every wave of confusion, it's part of a much bigger spiritual battle that started long before you could understand it. You didn't just stumble into this moment. The war for your destiny began the moment heaven recognized your purpose. Before you even knew your own name, your soul carried a blueprint, and when heaven confirmed it, darkness took notice. That's when the battle began. This fight isn't about fame or fortune. It's not about being seen, being liked, or being followed. It's about assignment. You are the assignment. Your existence is divine necessity. You were sent here for something specific, something that cannot be duplicated or replaced. You carry something inside you that the world desperately needs, and that's exactly why the attacks have been so intense. Have you noticed how certain things that used to excite you suddenly lost their meaning? How certain friendships fell apart, not because you changed, but because your frequency did. That's not coincidence. That's spiritual separation. Heaven is removing what cannot go where you're going. You may not understand it now, but later you'll see it was divine protection disguised as rejection. Every distraction that came your way, every betrayal that broke your heart, every door that closed when you thought it should open, these were not punishments, they were redirections. The enemy's goal was simple, to make you forget who you are, to make you believe that you were ordinary, to make you so tired, so confused, so heavy that you'd stop fighting for your destiny. But you didn't stop. You're still standing. You may be bruised, but you're still breathing. You may feel worn out, but something in you refuses to quit, and that's because heaven's mark is still on you. Darkness doesn't fight what it already owns. It only fights what threatens its control. And you, chosen one, are a threat. That's why you've been feeling the pressure. That's why everything around you seems to be shaking. The enemy can't take what belongs to heaven, but he'll try to distract you until you hand it over willingly.
He can't steal your blessing, but he can drain your focus. He can't erase your purpose, but he can fill your mind with noise so you forget the sound of heaven's voice. And that's why lately your spirit's been restless. You feel pulled between peace and chaos, between clarity and confusion. Some days you wake up full of hope, and by noon you're questioning everything. It's not because you're unstable. It's because your spirit is in a tug-of-war between two realms. Heaven is calling you forward, while darkness is trying to pull you back. You feel the tension because your destiny is too heavy for complacency. But something powerful is happening right now. Heaven is reactivating its order around you. The angels that were silent are moving again. The protection that felt distant is drawing closer. Archangel Michael's trumpet is sounding, not in the natural world, but in the spirit. It's not a sound your ears can hear, but your soul recognizes it. It's the call for warriors of light to awaken. Those strange dreams you've been having, those numbers that keep repeating, the sudden memories that come out of nowhere, they're not random. They're signals. Heaven is trying to get your attention, reminding you that your path is being realigned. You've entered a season of divine reactivation. Every piece of confusion that tried to cloud your vision is being cleared. Every lie that told you you're not enough is being silenced. You're not losing your mind. You're finding your mission. When you were chosen, heaven declared, "This one is mine." And darkness said, "We'll see if they know it." That's the test you've been walking through. Every setback, every betrayal, every emotional storm, it was all to see if you'd still believe when it looked like everything was against you. But look at you now. You're still here, still breathing, still believing even with scars on your soul. That's proof that you're not finished. You're fortified. The trumpet that's sounding isn't just about war. It's about awakening. It's heaven saying, enough hiding, enough shrinking, enough questioning. It's time for you to walk in what you were born to carry. You are not behind. You are not late. You are right on heaven's schedule. Every delay was divine training. Every loss was sacred preparation. You're stepping into a time where what was meant to break you will become the very proof that heaven was with you all along. So when things start to shake, don't panic. When you feel pressure, don't give up. Heaven shakes what can be shaken, so that only what's real remains. You've outgrown old seasons. You've matured through pain. You've learned to pray differently, to see differently, to love differently. You've been refined, not ruined. And soon those who doubted you will witness what heaven saw in you all along. The ones who walked away will see the favor they forfeited. The ones who lied about you will watch truth rise in your defense without you having to say a word. Because when heaven marks you, no amount of darkness can erase that light.
Your spirit already knows it. That's why you've been sensing change before you could explain it. Heaven doesn't need your permission to bless you. It just needs your alignment. So breathe. Let the noise fall away. You're not losing your mind. You're remembering your mission. You're not breaking apart. You're breaking open. The unseen battle may have started long ago, but it's being won right now, one act of faith at a time. The same heaven that spoke your name back then is still speaking it now, louder, clearer, stronger. And every time it does,
Darkness trembles again. You were never forgotten. You were never overlooked. You were never abandoned. You were chosen. And right now, heaven's alarm is ringing louder than ever, not to frighten you, but to awaken you, because something massive is unfolding behind your name. If this message found you today, it's not by accident. You were meant to hear it. So take a moment, breathe it in, and let your spirit remember who you are. Now, tell me in the comments, have you felt that shift lately? You've probably felt it, haven't you? That strange mix of peace and pain tugging at your heart lately. You can't quite explain it, but something feels different, like a quiet shift happening in the unseen, rearranging pieces of your life that you thought were already settled. It's not just your imagination. Heaven has been moving things around you, exposing what's real and removing what was false. This is the human side of the battle, the part where your heart becomes the battleground between your past, your present, and your purpose. Somebody who once walked away from you feels it now. The one who rejected your light, who doubted your worth, who thought you were replaceable, they feel the fire. Their pride keeps them from speaking, but silence doesn't erase the truth. They can't rest. Heaven won't let them. Because when someone mishandles what heaven sent, their peace becomes restless until they face it. They feel the weight of what they lost, but the cost of their pride is heavy. And though they may not admit it out loud, they replay your absence in their mind, wondering how they let something sacred slip away. You've probably felt their energy too, haven't you? That strange pull when you think you've finally moved on, but something keeps tugging at your soul. That's not nostalgia. It's their spirit wrestling with unfinished truth. Their dreams carry your name, not because they miss you as a person, but because heaven is reminding them of what they mishandled. Regret has become their teacher, and no matter how far they go, peace won't find them until truth does. But while that old connection burns in the background, something new is quietly emerging. A presence that doesn't chase attention, but carries peace. Someone drawn not to your image, but to your essence. Their soul recognizes you. It's a connection that feels familiar, but fresh. Not because of what you've been through, but because of who you've become. They don't see your scars as damage. They see them as proof that your light survived the darkness. This person isn't coming to repeat history. They're coming to rewrite it. And right now, heaven is watching closely. This moment, this exact crossroad is what I call a gate moment. It's a divine test disguised as a choice, because your next yes or no determines the flow of your future. The gate doesn't just open for anyone. Heaven is observing your discernment, watching who you allow back into your sacred space. Will your heart open to peace, or will it repeat a pattern of pain? You're being trusted with choice, not to test your strength, but to reveal your wisdom. That's why the signs around you have been getting louder. Random names appearing on your screen, songs that hit differently, old memories surfacing out of nowhere. It's not nostalgia, it's spiritual recall. Heaven is replaying the moments that shaped your discernment, reminding you of what you learned, of how far you've come, and what not to forget. Every flash of memory is heaven whispering, remember who you are. Remember what you survived. And then there are those dreams, vibrant, emotional, sometimes confusing. You wake up feeling someone's presence, like they were right there with you. That's not coincidence. The spiritual battle doesn't stop when you sleep. Your subconscious becomes the battleground where truth and deception wrestle. Sometimes the person you feel tugging on your energy isn't physically near you, but their soul is still trying to resolve what pride wouldn't let them fix. They're dreaming about you because their spirit knows what their ego refuses to say. And in that invisible tug of war, you're being called to choose peace over pity, clarity over confusion, purpose over pressure. Heaven isn't asking you to chase closure. It's asking you to walk in freedom. But even freedom has a price. Right now, two energies are fighting for your heart. One moves from love, patient, peaceful, pure. The other moves from fear, controlling, manipulative, disguised as care. You'll feel both, and they'll both seem familiar. But only one is from heaven. The other is an echo from a broken past. Heaven is testing which one you'll align with. Because love will never demand you shrink to be understood. Real love doesn't drain, it restores. It doesn't confuse, it clarifies. You may have noticed people acting strangely lately. Someone who once ignored you suddenly being overly kind. Others going quiet out of nowhere. Some hovering around your energy again as if trying to reattach themselves to your light. It's not random. The shift in the spirit realm is exposing hearts. Motives are being revealed. The masks that used to fool you are starting to crumble because heaven has begun an investigation, a divine courtroom moment over your name. In this sacred hearing, motives were weighed, intentions were examined, truth was measured against deception. Heaven saw who was real and who only pretended. And now justice is unfolding in ways you can't always see, but can deeply feel. The one who betrayed you is haunted now. Haunted not by you, but by their own reflection. They're finally seeing themselves without the mask, and it's breaking them. Because heaven won't allow peace where truth was violated. They can't escape the echo of what they did. Every time they try to forget, your absence reminds them of what was sacred. What they once called ordinary, they now realized was divine. You weren't replaceable. You were a divine connection sent to elevate them. But their pride turned it into pain. And here's the thing, heaven never wastes pain. Every tear you cried was recorded. Every night you felt unseen was witnessed. The delay wasn't denial. It was divine justice being prepared behind the scenes. Because while they were busy underestimating you, heaven was busy elevating you. You were never meant to stay where you were hurt. You were meant to rise from it. That's why everything feels so exposed now, why the truth seems to reveal itself faster. It's because the spiritual courtroom has rendered a verdict. Heaven has cleared your name. You're being vindicated without having to defend yourself. The energy that was used against you is returning to sender. The same way they made you feel small, heaven is now showing them how sacred your presence truly was. And yet, Even in this season of justice, heaven is still watching your heart, because your response matters. Will you seek revenge, or will you walk in release? Will you gloat over their downfall, or will you pray for their awakening?
You can feel it, can't you? That strange pull in your spirit, that sense that something is lining up again. Things you thought were over, people you thought were gone, moments you thought were lost. It's not your imagination. Heaven is merging timelines. The past and your purpose are about to collide. This isn't to bring chaos back into your life. It's to bring closure. Because you can't step fully into destiny while pieces of your story remain unhealed. You're entering a sacred collision, a moment where what once broke you is now being used to build you, where what once confused you is now becoming your confirmation. Heaven is aligning everything that was once scattered. People tied to your purpose, even the ones who got lost along the way, are being redirected toward you again. But this time is not for another cycle of heartbreak. It's for clarity. Heaven won't allow unfinished business to shadow your future. So yes, something or someone from your past may resurface, not to reopen the wound, but to help you finally seal it with understanding. Soon there will be a message, maybe a text, maybe a call, maybe just a name that appears when you least expect it. You'll see it and your heart will skip a beat before you even know why. That moment, that single notification will mark the end of confusion. It'll be heaven's way of saying, this is the clarity you prayed for. You'll feel it instantly, not as panic, but as peace. Because when heaven wants you to close the chapter, it will send understanding before it sends words. You'll stand before two paths then. One will look familiar, comfortable, but chaotic. The other will feel peaceful, quiet, but purposeful. And here's the truth. Heaven won't choose for you. It never forces, it guides. You'll feel the pull, the whisper in your spirit reminding you what real peace feels like. The comfortable path will tempt you with nostalgia, but the peaceful path will lead you to destiny. Choose wisely, because your next decision won't just shape your relationship, it will shape your legacy. And as these moments unfold, something else begins. Revelation. Heaven's verdict is being delivered over your life. The truth about what's real, what's false, and what's finally finished. The true love test is happening now. The real one won't compete for your attention. They won't confuse your heart or play with your peace. They'll protect your energy even when they're not around. The false one, though, will thrive on chaos. They'll dramatize, manipulate, project. You'll know the difference not by how they speak, but by how your spirit feels when they do. Heaven isn't watching to judge you. It's watching to align you. Grace has been quietly covering you, while truth has been exposing what couldn't stay hidden. Your silence has been your greatest weapon. While others shouted, you stayed still. And that stillness spoke louder than any defense. Heaven heard what you didn't say. Every time you chose peace over reaction, heaven advanced your cause. And now, motives are surfacing. Hidden truth are being brought to light. Someone close, maybe someone you once trusted, will soon confess what they hid. Not to win you back, but to free themselves from guilt. That conversation will sting for a moment, but it will bring peace that lingers for years. Heaven will use that confession not as reopening, but as closure. What once kept you up at night will finally lose its hold. And just as you release what was, heaven releases what's next. You're stepping into the season of divine reversal and restoration. Everything you thought you lost is returning, but in a higher form. Some things will be restored, yes, but they'll come back transformed. Others will be replaced entirely, because heaven knows you deserve better than recycled pain. This time, peace will be the prize, not the afterthought. The one tied to your purpose has been in divine training. You may not see it yet, but heaven's been refining them just like it's been refining you. Their ego is breaking. Their fear is dissolving. They're being reshaped to meet the healed version of you. Because the old version of them could never handle the evolved version of you. When you meet again, whether it's them or someone new, it won't feel like starting over. It'll feel like alignment. You see, your stillness wasn't weakness. It was strategy. Every moment you stayed quiet, heaven was moving. Every tear you held back became a seed for your breakthrough. What looked like waiting was actually warfare, fought not with noise, but with faith. The enemy didn't understand your silence because he didn't realize that your stillness was surrender to a higher plan. You didn't fight for revenge, you fought for peace. And that's exactly why heaven is rewarding you now. The war is ending. The noise is fading. The spiritual clash that's been draining your energy for months, maybe years, is coming to a close. What's left after the storm will be undeniable truth, peace, and alignment. You'll wake up one morning and realize that the tension in your chest is gone. The heaviness has lifted, and you'll feel it, the stillness that only heaven can bring. But before the peace fully settles, there's a final test. Peace versus performance. Heaven will show you two energies again. One will feel familiar. It'll demand your attention, your explanation, your performance. The other will feel different, calm, quiet, yet empowering. Choose peace, even if it feels strange at first, because performance drains, but peace sustains. The familiar will try to make you earn love. Peace will remind you that you are already love. And once you choose peace, the verdict is sealed. Heaven declares victory over your name. The chains of confusion that once tied your emotions are snapping right now. The atmosphere around you is shifting. You're stepping into divine reversal, where what was stolen is returning multiplied. The betrayal, the loss, the delay, none of it was wasted. Heaven has been keeping receipts. And now, the harvest of your patience is coming due. You're not just getting answers, you're gaining authority. Every wound that once made you doubt yourself will now become the very proof of your strength. The story that once broke you will become someone else's roadmap to healing. Your clarity will become your crown. And as you wear it, you'll realize you didn't just survive, you ascended. This is the beginning of your divine era. The warfare that once defined you no longer owns you. Peace is replacing confusion. Love is returning in healed form. You're not waiting for a miracle anymore. You are the miracle. You carry light now. When your name is spoken in rooms you've never entered, it carries the memory of everything heaven walked you through. And soon you'll see it. The full circle moment, the past and purpose finally aligned. The pain and peace finally reconciled. You'll look back and realize that nothing was lost, only transformed. The divine reversal isn't coming, it's already begun. So breathe. You're stepping into a chapter where your heart won't have to fight for understanding anymore. You'll move with grace. You'll speak with wisdom. You'll love without fear. And you'll walk with the quiet confidence of someone who knows heaven already called their name. Your clarity is your crown. Your peace is your proof. And your destiny, it's unfolding right now, beautifully, divinely, and unshakably yours. Now, tell me in the comments, can you feel this new beginning rising inside you too?